Hello! I'm live, apparently. But I still never believe it until I get confirmation that someone can both see and hear me. So we're going to sit here in silence until someone says that you can see and hear me. Yay! Excellent. I thought that could get quite awkward quite quickly because then with me not being able to say anything else because I said I was sitting here in silence, if no one had heard me say I need to sit here in silence until you can see and hear me, then how, if you hadn't heard me, how would I know what to say? There's a spiral there. There's a spiral. Let's not go down that. Hello, 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 hello. And welcome to another ramble. Exactly. Yes. So I haven't said I'm going to ramble about anything in particular because for many reasons, well, probably about three, I couldn't think of a topic. There are probably many topics that I could have, should have, maybe thought of. But still not very well. Still not very well. Not terrible, but I'm not great. And I can definitely just I can definitely turn this on and read stuff and say stuff and just say what comes into my head and maybe answer questions and just chat. I haven't quite got the bus fare to think up a topic and ramble about it. So yeah, just going to do a bit of rambling. Last week I had super bad Wi-Fi reception, plus the brain problem, and I thought I'll get super fretty if it goes a bit wobbly whilst I'm rambling. So I chickened out from doing it. Yeah. Oh, here's a totally random thing hanging off my desk lamp. I've got a little Morpheus voodoo doll. Isn't that cool? Yeah, right. Back he goes. Back he goes. There. He's back now. Because this chat box thing is an old faithful of topics. Right. Yes. Okay. Understood. So, right. What has been going on? What's been going on? What's the ramble subject for this evening? And then Q&A and stuff. Well, the ramble subject is whatever I ramble on to. And what's been going on is, I guess, something I will come on to in a moment, and then what's coming up and questions and stuff. I've got the Discord Q&A open there. My right hand lady Crimson is not on duty tonight, but she might drop into the chat because when I'm doing, well, for a number of reasons, she's puppy wrangling again. She's got this tiny little pooping and biting machine that needs needs wrangling. And because I'm doing a general ramble, when I've got a topic ramble and I'm just talking, I kind of try and ignore the chat and then come back to it at certain points. And then Crimson is an invaluable help with that. But when I'm keeping an eye on the chat and I'm kind of doing that to kind of go along, then I have there's less for Lady Crimson to do. So she is puppy wrangling and may drop in. What else? Oh, this is going to be short if I don't have anything else. So what's been going on? Well, don't ignore us. Paul, what are your thoughts on a Babylon 5 reboot? Okay, thank you very much for the super chat, Chapter Master. I never really watched the original Babylon 5. I saw the occasional episode every now and then. It was all right. There were sort of lizard men and people with silly haircuts. I didn't know there was a reboot until you just said it. So I guess that depends on who makes it. Like with any reboot, I've seen some awesome reboots and some terrible reboots. So I guess it very much depends on the reboot. You might need to feed me some more info to help with that. So what's next? Oh, wow. A super chat from Kev. Thanks. Very generous, Kev. Thank you very much. That is awesome. And for the first time on the channel, I'm drinking out of a glass. Ooh. I think there's some kind of can shortage. So I'm on bottles, but it is actually caffeine-free Diet Coke, which is, hey, perfect. Kevin, thank you, sir. Thank you. More than generous. Oh, wow, there's another one as well. Hang on. Okay, what have we got from Luke? Hey, Paul, can't make Paul Fest, unfortunately, busy with work commitments and not throwing a dice and hanging over 15 years. So I'm not sure how it all still works. Here's my Paul Fest ticket. Oh, man, I'm sorry you can't make it. With regards to not having thrown a dice in 15 years, that is not a barrier to involvement. It's maybe, and I'm looking at you, Chapter Master Lexicus, maybe something we could think of trying to work into a future event, because we've got quite a few people who did it back in the day but haven't done it for a while. Maybe we need to do something that is for the non-dice rolls, or maybe that's something I should do as a video rather than an event, because 40k 9th edition is not the accessible edition. 8th ed was the accessible edition. It's now the uber complex edition. Grr. Maybe that's something I could do as a video. If you're new to this and you want to know how to get started or get back into it, how do you do that? I will ponder this. Oh, sad you can't make it, but thank you very much for the super chat. It is much appreciated. You as all you're all amazing. It's fantastic. Oh, scrolling. Oh, wow. Yeah, lots of scrolling. Had lots of conversation about Babylon 5. I just never really watched it. You get all the box sets and send them to me. Well, I struggle with box sets that I haven't watched before, because my main boxed set consumption time is when I'm painting. But that means it has to be something I have already seen and I can just have an eye on and I don't have to think about. So what have I just finished with? I recently rewatched Fringe, one of my very favorites. Just done Archer, start to finish. And I say just started. I'm in the second series now of Grimm, which is very good. Enjoy that. It's, yeah. Yeah, Chapter Master saying there's some 500-point tables on the day for people who need to tune up. Moog is advocating a live roleplay event. Oh dear, that could end very badly. Anyone interested in a live roleplay should check out destiny.org.uk. Amazing live roleplay club based in the north of England that I say used to be, I haven't been for a long time, but absolutely amazing. High fantasy, really great bunch of folks. Lots of people talking about having played not very recent editions. So, what's gone on since last time? Oh, wow. What's this? Steve, long time listener, first time chatter. if you became the hive mind, what would you do? Now, is that the hive mind of the Tyranids? Or like a different hive mind? Is there another hive mind? The human hive mind? Well, I guess if I were the Tyranid hive mind, I would unite all the disparate splinters and fleets because well, it's an interesting thing, is right? Because in GW terms, the hive mind are meant to be the menace, the scourge of the galaxy. They are meant to be the big bad, the big nasty. But because they can't just sort of go, here are the big bad. Oh dear, they've wiped out the galaxy. Oh, we should have thought about that, really. Maybe we'll have to come up with a new plot for this Warhammer game. Like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have created something that was the big bad for the whole galaxy. Yeah, what should we do? Let's break it with a hammer. Okay, splinters everywhere. So if I were the hive mind, I would splinter unite and, devour. But sadly, GW. Sadly, profits are a thing. Ongoing intellectual property is a thing. The continuing existence of a business that doesn't just say, well, we've consumed all the biomass, so that happened. What should we do now? I don't know, just sit here and float, I guess. Find more galaxies, because this is only one galaxy, right? It's the universe of galaxies that expand and devour. Live for the swarm. Okay, Mr. Squark, my thoughts on the recent Black Templar models? Yeah, they're fine. They are GW'd up. They are the concept of Black Templars brought up to date in their to their current standard of miniature production, if that makes sense. So I don't think they're particularly innovative. They're just the same thing redone and done very well. So I guess that's what I think. So a bit of random silence there. You really can taste the difference between the Coke and the Pepsi. What's on the hobby table? Moog is asking. It's Necrons, but we'll circle back to that in a little while. So what have I been doing? Well, last we had one of these, I was telling you all about the plan I had with Mikey P from Deployment Zone to do an Eldar versus Sisters and Blood Angels campaign. Because Mikey was due to come up to mine for a weekend, and we were going to film this five-part campaign. And I said, I probably shouldn't be telling you this just in case something random happens and we aren't able to do it. So something random happened, and Mikey became quite ill. So unfortunately, we weren't able to do it, and he wasn't able to come. Hold that thought. Another super chat from Grandilio. Pronounce it correctly. So you're saying if you were the hive mind, you'd be a galaxy-eating opaque window. Galaxy-eating opaque window. Right. What did I say that means opaque window? Galaxy-eating opaque window. Okay. I guess if I knew what I'd said that meant opaque window, I would find it funnier, but it's a little lost on me. Shatters into splinters. Ah, right. Okay, got it. Yes, opaque window. So yes, I guess currently the sort of high fleet is like safety glass, where it's in lots of little bubbles all over the place that can't reunite. Yeah, I haven't been called opaque for a long time. I've been called easy to see, which is a nice euphemism for morbidly obese. You're not fat, you're just easy to see. So, yes, that was the plan with Mikey P. Unfortunately, he came down with something, and we are having to reschedule. And we are. Oh, hello, Lemmy. You can't see her. She's right here. Boop, boop. You can see her ears, tips of her ears. So I had to work out what I could do at relatively short notice, and I rang up my good friend the Claw and said, "Do you fancy coming around and trying to work out how to play Age of Sigmar together?" And he went, "Yeah, all right." So the Claw and I played a game of Age of Sigmar where we stood in the garage, and I'm like, right, okay, I think according to the app, I've got 2 1,000 point lists. Which ones do you want? And he said, roll the dice. We rolled the dice. And then we got a copy of the rule book. We were like, right, movement kind of looks like this. This kind of looks like that. So we spent about 30 minutes just going through the rule book, going, yep. Right, okay, think that makes sense. Shall we do like a little game with like 2 units each and see how it plays? Or should we just go for a 4,000 point? You know, 1,000 points. Like, okay. So we did a battle report, which we filmed and put up in the members' lounge, of Nighthaunts versus Gloomspite Gits, which we knew we would get a lot of stuff wrong on. And we did get a lot of stuff wrong. But actually, I was surprised how not quite so much wrong we got. That makes sense. And I have to say, I really, really, really enjoyed the game. I wasn't sure about AOS, how I would find the fact that how I would find the fact that the roll to wound is on the attacking unit. So if a unit's ballistic skill is hitting on a 4+, and then its wound roll is wounding on a 4+, it doesn't matter whether they're hitting a goblin or a giant, they wound on a 4+. I wasn't sure I was going to like that or how that was going to work. But actually, having how durable something is as a factor of how many wounds it's got, and a variation on the save, and other things like ward saves, which are like shrugs. That's actually only paying for 40k, and other things. I actually thought it worked okay. And the super chat from Arrow 582 Railways. Would you ever do a campaign during the Badab War? Ever is the short answer is I don't think so, but it isn't for not wanting to. It's because the Badab War, it isn't an area of the 40k lore I know a huge amount about. I never read those books in a lot of detail. Obviously, I know Astral Claws to Red Corsairs, and I do at some point want to do a Red Corsairs army. Obviously. There was someone on the internet. I think it was who was it? Someone did an awesome conversion of Huron Blackheart out of Abaddon the Despoiler. It was absolutely, it looked superb. And I thought, yeah, I've totally got to do one of those or get one of those or wait till they produce a better model. So I would do Red Corsairs, but most of the Badab War involved very specific chapters. So I would need to have armies from those chapters and when you're doing a campaign, you've got to have sufficient miniatures to be able to have variation. You can't just have, if you've got a 1,500 point army, you can't just use it again and again and again and again, because that's not great for filming content. You need to have enough. You need to have sort of like 3, 4, 5K to be able to pick really different lists each time to keep it fresh and to be able to do things like if you're doing a scenario where there's like a swift attack, so you can use lots of fast stuff, or there's an elite strike, you use terminators and things. You've really got to have the variety. So because of the very specific nature of all the protagonists, it's unlikely I would ever do the Badab Crusade. But it's hard to say never, right? Because if, for instance, I won the Euro Millions and won 120 million, I can certainly tell you my time would be very much spent producing lots of 40k and other war games for the internet. And with a massive bag of lottery money, I'd go, okay, painting companies, I want this army, this army, this army, this army. Here's money. Go do. Then campaign I must. Yes. But nah, it's not very likely. All right, what we got? Moog saying looks like it plays a bit like 40k with slightly more swords. Yes, I will elaborate on that in a minute. Arch and a Border Prince both have very good series in the Badab War. Quite enjoyed the AOS battle, made me think about maybe trying it at some stage. Oh no, the contagion spreads. That's what happened with Aeronautica. I played that, and then other people were like, wow, little planes, tiny little planes. I need to do some tiny little plane stuff. And I might do this maybe next week or maybe as a one-off. Don't know. No promises. But GW sent me the, what is it called? Wrath of War set for Aeronautica, and I haven't had the chance to do a video with it yet. So what I might do is I might do a ramble about Aeronautica and have the book and just sort of talk about the game, and then also look at the specific flyers for those two factions and talk about how they're different, because I've got all the context of like the orc stuff and the guard stuff and so on. So I might do that at some point. It's a little while off me doing a painting video for those, but I will paint them at some point. And the dilemma there is, do I paint them as the Salamanders and Siam Han, because they will presumably bring out a campaign book based around those two factions, so I'll need to paint them as those factions to play through the campaign book. But ahead of myself, I've still only played one of the 6 games with Rin's World so far, and then I've got the Tau one to line up afterwards with the Claw. Lots of games to have. Anyway, I'm digressing from the digression of the digression. Come on, brain, reset. So AOS, this AOS game, I really like the command point mechanic. You don't get a big bucket load of command points at the start of the game. You get a number per turn, and they only last for that turn. They disappear at the end of the battle round. And the majority of ones that you want to use are for generic sort of battle tactic type things. Like there's one to make your troops move better. There's one that you can use in your opponent's turn to move away from your opponent's troops if they've come close. There's one where you can recover models from units that have had casualties. So this is sort of, back on your feet, men, you aren't dead yet, or come back, you rabble, stand and fight. And you can get models back, which I think is really cool. And those affect the ebb and flow of the battle quite a bit, which is nice. The combat isn't also quite so decisive. It's not... I wasn't taking models off with a shovel. I guess when I get some more of the big things, like, this is 500 points. Yeah, I'd be expecting to shovel things off with that. But a lot of the units stayed around for a turn or two. And there were almost no guns on the table. Well, there were no guns on the table. There was one troll that was throwing a rock. There were no other ranged attacks other than magic. So a lot of it was about position of your combat units, because your units were only really under threat if they were being attacked in combat. So you didn't have to put things, sort of hidden to save them from shooting. Now, obviously, shooting armies will do shooting damage, but I worked it out, even with like 20 goblins that are firing, they're only hitting on 5s and wounding on 5s. Obviously, not everything's a goblin, but okay, 20 dice hitting on 5s, so that's 6.6 hits, 6.7. All right, so that's then 2 point something wounds. All right, you got a 4-up save. Okay, it's a wound. Okay, that's not a huge amount. It's there's not the sort of big swathing. And I used Wrath of Mars, and you're dead. There's not that in it. So the combat went on for longer. Really liked. Sorry, there's a cat really wanting fuss down here. Well, a very specific cat. And I liked the fact that fighting in the combat phase alternated. It's a similar way to 40k, but in 40k, all charging units fight first. That isn't the case in AOS. So it doesn't make a huge amount of difference whether it's your turn or your opponent's turn. You can still use your stratagems. They can use their stratagems. You pick, I pick, you pick, I pick. Or I pick, you pick, depending on whose turn it is. So who gets the charge didn't make a huge amount of difference, especially when you've got multiple combats going on, so you can only really pick one to get in first. So I also liked the fact that the battle rounds, who goes first in each battle round, is determined by a dice off at the start of the battle round. And I don't think that's... and that's not such a bad thing as it is in 40k, where if you're the one charging, you're doing huge amounts of damage. If you're the one shooting, you're doing huge amounts of damage. It's more sort of tactical and attritional from this one game I've played. This may not count and bear out on other games, I don't know. But I really liked that. I really liked the random element. So that was really cool. Really enjoyed that. Oh, what we got? From Kevin, just to let you know that your hobby vlogs got my partner into painting minis. Hey! Excellent. Thank you very much for the super chat, and congratulations and commiserations. I'm really pleased with that. I'm glad that's that I don't know if inspiring is the right word, but I guess I just have a sort of... all my videos, they're meant to have this feel of being in the room with me, because when I'm on the right subject, conversation is something I can do quite well. When I'm not on the right subject, I'm not words no speaking English good, but on the right subject, and just sort of talking through what I'm doing is something that I think I'm okay at. So yeah, I'm really glad that that's that does get people into it. Oh, all right, madam, what are you doing? Sorry, cat moment. Wow. Thank you, Chapter Master and Mrs. Chapter Master. That's well, I like that people like that. That is good. That is good. So yeah, the Claw and I played that game of AOS, which was super good fun. Got me really into thinking what I could do next, and Claw went straight onto eBay and bought himself some Stormcasts. Sorry, mate. So he's been experimenting on how he's going to paint those up. He turned up the next day because we actually that game we didn't quite get it finished in one day. He turned up the next. He came back in the morning to finish it off, and he turned up with some spoons. It's like I've been practicing with my airbrush, trying to work out what colour to do my armour for my Stormcasts. So he's got some spoons that he's sprayed on. It's like, what do you think of that one? What do you think of that one? Look, that is a really cool idea. Oh, you going? Yeah, she's going. She's had enough. Yeah, so got Claw into yeah, sorry, mate. Got Claw into iOS, so he's been scouring eBay and is hopefully we will have some more games of iOS. Yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to the iOS. So what else? So one of the other things I've been working on, regular viewers of the channel, viewers, listeners, watchers, people, supporters, consumers. Some of you may have seen I posted up last night the build and paint hobby vlog for the Orc kill rig for 40k. I asked people. I did a what do you call it? A voting thing on YouTube and said, which should I do, the kill rig or the hunting rig? And people voted and said, do the kill rig. And I'm like, right, okay, I'll do the kill rig. And then I get the instructions open. It's like, oh, it's modular and I can actually do it as both. All right, okay, that makes the question pointless, but hooray. That was not a straightforward model to do. Many sub builds. And yeah, that took an awful lot longer than I expected, but quite pleased with the result. Of course, it does mean now that the snakebite faction of my orcs consist of 2 characters, 10 orcs, and a kill rig. It's like, that's not a good ratio. I need to do more snake bites. So I shan't be using it until I have got more snake bites. But I'm thinking maybe November, October, I'll do some building and painting of orcs. Don't know. See how my muse grabs me. But I'll come back to that in a bit. So what else? Well, last week was my last week at work at my previous contract. So I was very, very angsty and nervous about leaving it because, ironically, being a contractor, one of the whole gig is that you do sort of 3 months work here, 6 months work there, and then you move on to other things, and you're constantly going in and out of organizations. This particular contract was only 4 years, so I actually was a teensy bit institutionalized, teensy bit, and very sad to leave. It was almost as long as my previous permanent role, so I was very sad to go. Not because of the nature of the project was hellish, but I had an awesome team and I really enjoyed working with people I work with. So yeah, I was very sad to go and feeling very anxious about going beforehand because I've never actively left a job in my life before. Um, I've always either been made redundant from permanent jobs or seen a contract out to the end. And this was one where I chose not to renew because it wasn't the best thing for me. Um, so yeah, that made me feel really weird, and the anxiety is starting to cool down a bit. But a lot of the anxiety was caused by the fact that I wasn't very comfortable with the nature of the work, and I was getting very stressed about it. So that was, it was the right decision for me, absolutely the right decision for me. But it's always yeah. Well, I'm starting to get a little bit better, but I was so massively touched on the last day that even though everything was remote, they'd done a collection, or they did me a fantastic e-card, which I was very surprised about. You know how normally on your last day at a job, everyone gathers around the desks. Well, they put like a surprise meeting in where they just dragged me in, and everyone was there with all the cameras on, and I was like, "Oh, guys," which was really cool. And uh, they had done a whip round, and they got me a Element Games voucher, and it's really quite a large Element Games voucher as well. So I'm just absolutely blown away by all of that. I was totally blown away, and I need to decide what to buy from Element Games because I don't want to just go. I don't want to just use it to buy not random stuff, but I want to buy something specific so I can. So I sort of go. I bought that with. That was my leaving present from that job. When I left my previous permanent job, the guys whipped round and they got me Gilliman. And I obviously I still remember that. I want to do the same, so I've got to try and work out what to get that's going to be sufficiently in my mind. I'm definitely going to get the what's it called? What is it called? The orcs, the nasty ones, the crawl boys. I'm definitely going to get the big crawl boy flying bird thing. Um, I want to try and work out what else to get. I've been trying to think of big, impressive models for the armies I play that I don't already have that aren't just going to sit on the shelf for 30 years till I get to them. I thought, oh, well, I could get Magnus, or I could get Mortarion, but my armies aren't big enough for to have a realistic prospect of painting them and using them in the short time. So I thought maybe Nagash to go with my Nighthawns. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe a Bloodthirster to go with my World Eaters. Don't know. So I'm still trying to work that out. Yeah. Whew, it's a very emotional day on Friday. Very emotional day. Right, what's been going on in the chat? Because we're only up to about Friday last week now. There's still loads more stuff to say about. It's probably good that this was a generic ramble because this is just the catching up on stuff bit, and we're already 40 minutes in. Although I probably have been digressing more than normal tonight. The digression probably has been enhanced. Yeah, Kevin's saying that she's helping paint the piles of endless entertainment. Moog, yeah, I'm sorry about that, bud. Dropping lots of money on AOS. Oh dear. November, you mean at Pullfest 2, the Necrotic Boogaloo? I don't believe Paulfest 2 is a thing yet, but I'm not directly involved with Paulfest. So for those of you who aren't aware, a little plug for the guys. We have a channel Discord, which all members get access to. And the good folks on the Discord decided they wanted to have a get-together in a face-to-face and throw some dice together. So they have organised an event on the 23rd of October. So only a couple of weeks away now. At Tabletop Events in Belper. And it is open. It's £10 a ticket and open to any Say Hi Paul channel members. So if you're interested and you are a channel member, just check out the thread in the Discord. If you're interested and you're not a channel member, become a channel member. You don't need to do it for a month if you only really want to. But it's a great little community thing going on, and yeah, it's awesome. So do that if you want to do that. There you go. So that's the advert for Paulfest. So I don't think Paulfest 2 is a thing yet. Oh, I am going, by the way. Yes. So whilst I say I'm not involved, people have described me as the guest of honor. So I'm going to be there. All right. I've also signed up for I don't know if it's officially a Deployment Zone event or not, but it's being organised by Brap Scallion from Deployment Zone. An event called the King in the North in October, which is I think they describe it as like a narrative tournament. So I thought, blow it. I will give some match play a go. And it's a whole load of the Deployment Zone guys are going up. So I'm going up for the socials of it. And I'll see just how badly I can do with a narrative list. Digressing. Still got orc models need to make up and paint, but that too many guard models to do first. Yeah, I know what you mean. I actually did write down how many armies I had. I think I randomly said, "Oh, it's probably not 50 yet. It's 47." Yeah, it's 47. And that's only counting 40k and AOS. It's not counting other game systems. 47. I could spend a week on each one a year and no more, with a couple of weeks holiday for like Christmas and stuff. And I'd only get a week on each one. What is wrong with me? Quite a lot. We already miss you. From Mr. Matt Pulsford. Yeah. Yeah. Cheers, man. Stick between 40k AOS and Legion. I have to rotate my painting projects between each of them so I can justify the amount of plastic crack I have in my painting room. Guard is on my list of wants. Yeah, right there with you, buddy. Lexicus went mad on Saturday. Oh, it's jumped. And getting the rest of the guard models out I wanted to. Yeah, familiar with that. Hello to Grumpy Guy Gaming. Institutionalized, that's a word from another decade. Doesn't mean sort of sent away to what we might at one time have called a loony bin. That's more sort of getting sort of comfortable and stuck and stable and the fear of the unknown, in this context anyway, as in sort of comfortable or set in the institution that I was working in. Some say I'm mad. I say I'm firmly dedicated to their craft. Won't tell you how much I've just spent on crustic plaque. That's new phrase. Dominion box set is still good value if Element has them. Yeah, it is. I got myself a Dominion box set because I wanted a whole bunch of the Crawlboy models that you couldn't get separately. So I picked up a Dominion box set. And I've done some swapsies with the Claw for the rule book because I've ended up with two rule books. If your job involved data, why not go Mechanicum or Belsaris or something? They're not grabbing me at the moment, the AdMech, on account of being ridiculously unnecessarily complicated. But they are on the list relatively soon after the Necrons, because I still want to do an Eldar Necron and AdMech campaign, but I need to paint Necrons. I need to paint Necron scenery, AdMech, and AdMech scenery first. Progress on that to be discussed soon. I try to limit myself each month. This month I thought, sod it, I want it. Yeah. Back in the day, I used to have like a budget, and I used to do like 50 quid a month on GW, and used to get quite a lot for 50 quid a month. The ratio used to be, I think it was 100 quid got you 1,000 points. I remember that being roughly in the mid noughties. It is not that now. Paulfest 2 will be a thing at some stage, but want to make it a narrative day. I think there are still some tickets for Paulfest. There are indeed tickets for Paulfest, I think. Yes, Chapter Master has said that. Buy the spare tickets. Yep, thank you, Moog. Perhaps Paulfest 2 could be chaos-based and play out the War of the 10 Legions. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that hanging where it is. So, right, found the bottom of the chat. So, what? Where was I? I was up to Friday. Yeah. So Saturday, got me. Didn't quite get me finishing off the Orc kill rig. My eyes were not able to focus on the brush by the end of it. I really wanted it done before Sunday morning, but didn't quite get to it. So had to finish that on Sunday morning. And the uploading on YouTube is just woeful. I've missed a bit. But I'll come back to that. Uploading on YouTube on Sunday, every time I've tried it, has been hella slow. So anything I've ended up finishing on Sunday has had to wait till Monday to go live. I can only infer that lots of people do that. Kill rig, I'm quite pleased with the kill rig. It did look, although it doesn't look great on camera. It looks just like a hunk of rust, which is exactly what I want it to look like. It is quite ironic. Painting it very, very neatly to then totally scruff it up is a bit weird. Why is my camera shaking? Well, my camera is shaking because my belly is pressed up against the desk, and then my laptop is on a sort of raised up thing that puts the screen right in front of me, and the camera is on the laptop screen. So whenever I move around, it shakes the desk, which shakes the laptop, which shakes the camera. One of the things I want to do relatively soon is switch some of this around and put the camera on a stick that doesn't shake quite so much. I'm also toying with the idea of getting some of those arm things with the little lights to white light me rather than just this angle poise light, which kind of flushes me out. But if I don't turn it on, it all looks too dark. So I need some better. I might be able to put the microphone on a thing and like sort of swing the mic in, so talk to the mic rather than it being here. And then that way, I'm only supposed to have the mic about 6 inches from the thing, my face, according to the instruction book, but I have to have it about 18 inches away because of it standing on the thing. And it's very knockoverable because it's an inverse Weeble and Lemmy. So that is why the camera shakes, because I move around and I am in contact with the desk. I don't stay still very easily. My hands don't stay, my face doesn't stay still. I find it very difficult to maintain eye contact with anything, really. That's why my head goes all over the place. I'm a strange person. Every time I speak to, Chapter Master says, speak to Liam Dempsey. He can give you a guide on the setup for cameras, etc. Liam is an absolute superstar. I said to Liam, I need to buy a laptop. What do I get? I've got this laptop. So I need like a microphone and a camera. What do I get? He directed me to this microphone and camera. He says, these are the ones I got for winters. So it's like, so they are pretty much, he didn't say idiot proof, user friendly. So they're pretty easy to use. I was like, all right, yeah, okay. So yeah, Liam is great with all that stuff. He's a legend. And if I ask him for any help, he will definitely give it to me. I want to try and work some stuff out for myself. I have this notion to get, I've seen adverts for them, and the one I've seen advertised is probably sort of crummy, because when you see adverts on Instagram, I don't tend to imagine they're going to be the quality of anything's going to be very good. So I want to look for what I need. But it's occurred to me, if I could do something to mount my phone in with a light on it that I can put sort of looking down onto painting, so I could actually do a talk and paint, a sort of ramble paint combo. Whether it would be live or not, no idea. But I like the idea of actually being able to go, and this is how I scruffily do this. Yeah. So, yes, I jumped ahead to Monday. I shouldn't have jumped ahead to Monday. I should have gone to Friday evening. So Friday evening, Gambit came round, and we had we had a game of 40k. He and I haven't played for a little while, and we arranged the game. And I said, "Oh, what do you want to play, mate?" He said, "Well, I kind of have a hankering to play Tau." I'm like, "Oh, okay." He said, "I got this idea of like a unit in the middle of the table on an objective," and I took that to be, play as Tau. I was like, "Okay, that's fine." But I haven't even read them this edition, and I don't know what I've got, because he bought the army from someone else, and he's very short of time on account of his what do you call it? He half cloned himself, which doesn't leave him a lot of time for things. And I said, "No problem, mate. You've got the book. Yeah, let's check it's the right edition. Yeah, photograph. Yeah, right edition. Bring it around, and we'll work out together. We'll do a list. We'll work out what you've got, and we'll kind of work on it together, and we'll play. Great, no problem." I thought that can't be that difficult, because I play loads of games without working out what's going on beforehand. And I've seen Sultans learn to play Tau things, so I've got a rough idea on deployment zone, that is. And so then later in the week, he messaged me and said, "What do you want to play against?" And I said, "I don't know, Tyranids. You all know I don't have a Tyranid army. He does, though. Also in a box, also not opened for several years because he bought it." I'm like, "Okay, we'll do that." So what we ended up doing was, he came round, we had food. It was a bit later in the evening than we'd hoped, because he had some traffic issues, and he had childmindery issues. So he arrived, we ate, and we had to set the table up, because I can't remember why I hadn't had a chance to do that, but I hadn't. And we got chatting. We used to work together, so we got chatting about work and other things. We're like, "Right, okay, let's do this. What have you got?" Like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't think you did." So we're opening up these boxes, right? Do you know what that is? No. Right. So, "Oh, that's this. That's definitely this. Right. Let's use that." I'm like, "No, it needs to be a unit of 3 now, mate." Right. Put the venom throat back in the thing. So, like, "What about this one? It's not been painted." No, back in the box. So, "Oh, I didn't realize so much of this wasn't painted." It's like, "Okay, right. What have we got? What can we do?" And so at about 9:30, we eventually have some models on the table and a table set up. And then we go, "Right, okay, filming. Hi, we're doing this crazy thing." We turn the camera off, and we're like, "All right, okay, turn 1. Taufa, yeah, right, we need to read the codex. Right, what do they do?" So that was entertaining several hours of insanity. That went up on Sunday. I don't think we got it too far off. I realised afterwards that Mr. Squark must have been just crying into his coffee because we made quite a few time mistakes. But what one would expect that. And there was a disclaimer at the start that said this will be riddled with mistakes. But it played out reasonably well. And Gambit is now on a big, I really want to paint Nids. I really want to paint Tau. He really wants to paint the last thing he's just played. That's his thing. But that was good. And I was just saying, oh, well, we could do this and we could do that and we could do the other. I'm like, yeah, there's definitely some possibilities. Let's see how this one goes. And there's definitely some options there. There's definitely some options. So that was both insane and a lot of fun. It was a very weird day that day because in the morning I'd had this emotional farewell to the team I'd worked with for nearly 4 years. Then in the afternoon, I had to drive to Solihull to take my laptop back and then back. So in Friday traffic. So there, laptop, back. Then in the evening, it was, right, I'm on my way. What are we doing? I don't know. So trying to work out some lists from the app. And I'm like, I don't know what you've got. Well, I know what the Tau were because both these armies used to belong to Stormshroud, who is the other half of Fast Panda Gaming with the Claw. And when he gave up 40k, he sold a lot of his armies, and Gambit picked up 2 of them. But I know the Tau army, because it was from a company called Blue Table Painting. They did a thing years ago where you could buy at a heavily reduced price 500-point blocks of a random army. You didn't get to know what army it was going to be, and you didn't get to know the composition of it. It was just you paid X. I don't know how much it was. He never told me at the time. You paid X for a 500-point block. So he paid for like 1,500 points of whatever, almost like a lucky dip with armies. And I assume they use it to give their painters practice, or I'm not sure. But he ended up with these blue Tau. And so I remember mostly what was in that army. Obviously, he then added to it. But so I was able to go, right, I know he's got complete units of Fire Warriors. I know he's got Crisis Suits. I know he's got this. I know he's got that. It was mostly around a Hunter Cadre, which is, as far as I'm concerned, the way to run Tau. One of the many legitimate ways to run Tau, but the one I favour. And yes, I was able to do some of that beforehand. It was good fun. It was heavy brain work. There was lots of hysterical giggling at various points. What are we going to do now? It was almost a relief when Gambit was going, I need to Overwatch again. You're like, right, you're spending all your command points. I know. Thank God for that. Because there's probably lots of stratagems we're not using. But we have to use them for this. Then, of course, we realized we got that wrong and they didn't have to spend command points on it, so they could have used them on other things. Not that it affected the result, but no spoilers. I, on the other hand, were like, okay, yeah, I'll use this and I'll use that and I'll use the other because I've seen Winters run Tyranids a lot, so I've got a bit of an idea about Tyranids. And it made me want to have lots and lots and lots of Tyranids as well. But they need to come after the Necrons. One moment. Diet Coke, the king of cola, king and or queen / non-gender specific monarch of cola. Right, what are we at in the chat now? Inverse Weeble. Now, there's a reference only a certain generation of Brits will get. Yeah, I wonder what happens if you Google Inverse Weeble. In fact, this is happening. This is happening, folks. Getting my phone, opening a new tab. Inverse Weeble. Oh, no, I'll put a dot in there instead of a space. Tiny keyboard. Inverse Weeble. No, I didn't mean inverse Webley. Images. No, it's some kind of... Okay, there's some kind of anime thing. There's some kind of equation. Maybe I spelled Weeble wrong. Let me get the right spelling for Weeble. You know you're going to get random stuff when you tune into me, folks. All right, Weeble. I've got Weeble. Now, let me try inverse. Weeble investment? Weeble inverse gives us... No, takes us back to the equations and stuff. But Weebles, wibble and wobble and don't fall down. It's basically like a kid's toy that's got like a round bottom that's heavily weighted. So it doesn't matter how many times you knock it over, it always rocks back upright. This could be a new thing. Say Hi Paul Googles. Nah. It's how I work out most of my law stuff. It's like that Tau video. I'm like, right in the description. So the Tau have discovered a cache of Imperial intelligence. They wouldn't say Imperial. Right. Google, tell me what Tau words are. Right. Wiki, whatever page. Okay. Guila. Excellent. A Guila stash of intelligence. I wonder if they have a word for Tyranids. Yes, they do. That can go in there too. I don't just know this stuff. There's research involved. Yes, there is. So that got USB device not recognized. Can you still see and or hear me? We can still see it here. Thank you, Moog. Thank you. On the ball as ever. Guela. GUE''LA. Excellent. Thank you, everyone, for the I'm still alive thing. Still here. Yeah. And the correct pronunciation. I got it right, Mr. Squawk. Thank you. Guela. I only know the Guela from the... I know it. It's how it's pronounced on the audiobook of one of the Caiaphas Cain books where they're encountering the Tau, which is very good. I love the Caiaphas Cain books. They're great. I want more of them to be on Audible sooner. Still a very good moment when a berserker yells at Caiaphas Cain, "Blood for the blood god!" And Cain goes, "Harry is for the cup!" Back! Kills him. Yeah. Great days. So, I'm now between contracts, and I don't know whether I will get another contract this year. I am definitely taking a break to try and feel better. My brain should get better with rest and relaxation, and then I'll be invigorated and raring to go for another contract. Whether that's going to be in the next few weeks or whether it's going to be a bit longer, I don't know yet. In all likelihood, it'll probably be in the new year because the contract market is dead in December. It might be before that. I don't know. We shall see. So I am working on a number of hobby projects to not to keep busy, but just to enjoy myself, to chill out. So this week so far, well, I've got a couple of games booked in with specific. Specific. Well, everyone's a specific person, aren't they? It was a stupid thing to have started to say. Got a couple of games booked in. I am playing the Petrol. See, it makes my touch wood. It makes me afraid of saying things now. But I'm playing a gentleman on Friday, a legend. I'm hopefully playing on Friday, assuming he can find fuel, by the name of Mr. Winters. That isn't actually his real name. That's a nickname. He's got a real name. And the observant of you will have noticed that his wife refuses to call him Winters on the couple of videos that you hear her voice in. She actually uses his name. Yeah, all right, chapter master. Go on, blow the gig. He's just written his real name. He hasn't spelt it right there. Just written his real name in the chat. Yeah, he already says only 2 people call him Jamie. One's his wife, the other's his mum. Did he say that? Or is it at work? Nah. Anyway, so he should be coming on Friday. And I'm hoping, fingers tightly crossed, to play my Necrons for the first time. So I am speed painting Necron scenery and my remaining Toomey Necrons at the moment. So, Moog, you asked what was on my desk earlier. It is Necrons. What have I got left to do? I've got Canoptek Doomstalker, 3 Canoptek Reanimators, 3 Canoptek Spiders, and 4 Cryptex on my desk. Oh, and 2 Crypto Thralls. I don't need all of them to be able to get to do an army, but they're the Canoptek stuff I'm doing in a batch. I'm on like stage 4 out of 8 at the moment. I've just completed stage 3 of literally just before coming onto the stream. So I'm moderately hopeful I'll get those done in time. The last couple of days, though, I have been trying to paint Necron buildings. And I had kind of hoped that because they were relatively straightforward and just a couple of colours, that I'd smash them all out in a couple of days. A couple of solid days, and I'd get the whole set done. I was very, very wrong. Like, one building took 4 hours, and I've got like 20 buildings to try and do. So I am... So I'm going with plan. Well, I say I'm going with plan B for the terrain. I've got a lot of different competing plans at the moment because I've got a game with Winters on Friday, and I got a game with Warsmith Chris on Saturday, and we're going to play. Come on, brain. Come on. We're going to play AOS. And he's currently painting an AOS army, although he says there's no petrol in his area. So it's still a fingers crossed as to whether we get to have the game or not. And so I need to try and get one of my armies up by another 500 points. We won't necessarily... If I don't do it, we'll play a couple of smaller games. But that's what I'm balancing off at the moment. So I've got till the end of Thursday to make sure I've got sufficient Necron scenery, sufficient painted Necrons, and sufficient painted AOS, either Night Taunt or Gloomspite Gits. So it's kind of a juggling. Where are we now? We're end of Tuesday. End of Tuesday. So I've only got 2 more days. Ooh. Doesn't feel like enough. Will I get all those Necrons done tomorrow? I reckon I'll probably have some time on Thursday to do something else. But it's whether I try and finish one more building for the Necron table, or whether I try and do something else for the AOS. I guess it depends how much time I've got. If I don't get a lot of time, I'll probably just do... No, I don't know. One of the things is I can't... I used to always think very far ahead and used to plan out all possible permutations of, well, what if this happens? Well, I'll just do that. Or what if this happens? Well, I'll just do that. So I would know all of my what ifs. When my brain became less functional than it used to be years ago now, that became very difficult. I feel a lot of anxiety with that. So I learned to just live with I'll work it out when I get to it. But I still have the two fighting parts of my brain, the part that always wants to know everything I'm going to do in each circumstance, and the other part that goes, you can't, mate. You just don't have the bus fare anymore. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen there. But I'll hopefully I'll get. I already have enough Necrons painted. I don't have an HQ painted, but that's okay. That's not going to take a huge amount of time. But I don't have variety because I've been painting big units. So, for example, it's not like I've got one of the reanimators done, one of the spiders done, some of the flayed ones, some of this, some of that, some of the other, and I can go, yeah, that's all kind of balanced. I've done all of the wraiths, all the scarabs, all the warriors. So I need to, so I'll probably take some kind of judgment call at the end of the evening tomorrow as to what I need to get done or haven't got done. I also will need to read the Necron Codex. I haven't done that yet. Might do that whilst I'm setting up with Winters. And he'll give me another one of his looks. Another one of his really looks. And I'm like, yeah, really. Or I might read some of it on Thursday. Probably read some of it on Thursday. Might read some on Friday morning. If I get a table set Thursday. Ooh, painting time, table set. Table down. And I've realised the Necron mat is really near the bottom. I don't know how I've messed up. And the Necron mat's got really near the bottom. But if I don't have enough Necron buildings, what I'm going to have to do is kind of do some kind of weird thing where the chamber's like half collapsed and rocky. So I might sort of do like half of a rocky mat and roll it over the rest of it, and then sort of put gravel to sort of merge the two together. Had hoped to do a full Necron chamber. Make me sad if I can't, but I'd rather be able to do the game. Rather be able to do the game. Yeah. And that more or less brings us up to date. Right, where are we up to? So I'm going back to the chat. Hello, all. Managed to make it. Hello, Ben. Good evening. Ice Wolf FF. Create town name by adding an apostrophe anywhere in the world. Tequila. It makes me happy. Tequila. 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 No, yeah. Tequila. I like that. Tequila. Right, that's my Primaris captain from Imperium Dud. Just need to decide what to put on the right pod paint. And or transfers. Airbrush chrome null oil and it's 80% done. You painted your Ophidians yet? Those were a lot easier than I thought where they were going to be. I can't actually see them to see if they're painted, but cellophane suggests not. They look cool, though. They look very cool. I'm looking forward to doing them. I'm looking forward to, ironically, I'm looking forward to doing all the remaining Necrons, but there's a shed load of them. There's a real shed load of them. Because I've got one, once I've painted these ones, I'll have a very specific army. It'll be perfect for defending the tomb when the tomb gets randomly invaded, but no good for any other Necron army. No good for any other story to be told. Because they won't have the right combination of units. So yeah, then they'll then get back into the rotation for what to build and paint next. But it all depends then how I get on with the whole, what AOS army am I doing? What 40k army am I doing? Because I kind of have an itchingy, inklingy type thing to do my snake bites. Kind of like that idea. They're not controversial, my snake bite. They're not say orcs, not controversial. I got a lot of chaos armies, and with the chaos rules being what they are at the moment, I can't really do much with them outside of Solo Hammer, so they're kind of out. Was thinking ahead a little bit to King in the North. I can't take any Imperial army to that because I might end up fighting an Imperial opponent. So no Imperial armies, that's out. Drukhari, they make me think far too much. And whilst I have a lot of variety, it's not a great army and it makes me think too much. And I'm not Drukhari. I'm like, right, this really is narrowing on this down quite a bit. So yeah, orcs. I'm kind of thinking orcs. Oh, hello, Lemmy. Different subject. Black Coach. Ooh. Warsmith Chris said he was buying a dragon, so I thought I need to buy something big for the night haunts. So I got a Black Coach. I'm not sure if I like it or not, but there's only one way to find out. Well, there are probably several ways to find out. I've digressed again. If somebody else joins the channel tonight, I'll put it in the Discord, which you get access to if you're a member. What's going in the Discord? There's an incentive for you. Oh, to see one of your pictures. Okay, yeah, that's super incentive. This is a chat about hobby stuff, which is cool. Traitor Afskin, good night, but you've probably already gone. What does everyone do with their empty sprues? Just bin them or reuse them for terrain? Sprues can be very good for adding structure to terrain. If you want to make two pieces stay together, you glue a sprue behind them, and they're pretty good for that. They also make quite good girders. I've done things before where I've drilled a hole in the end of a sprue, a relatively straight chunk of sprue, drilled a hole in it, put a bit of a paper clip in it, bent it, and then sprayed that and used that as like a concrete reinforced girder. That's quite good. One thing that works very well is if you get an old mincer, putting the sprues through a mincer creates gravel. It takes a bit of playing with, and you wreck the mincer by doing it. So you get a sort of a cheap one that you don't ever want to use for food. But yeah, that works quite well. Just turns it into piles of gravel. You have to work with the what's it called? Not coarseness. You have to play about with the gauge. Gauge? I don't think it's the right word, but it'll do. Yeah. And the rest go in the recycling bin. Makeshift back. Off the keyboard. It's all right. I've moved the keyboard. You may now walk. Or not. There is a cat here. I'm not that random. Chapter Master's got 4 Imperial Bastions on order to make a big centerpiece. Good-o. You need the Arachnarok Spider for your Gloomspite Gits. It's an awesome model and fun to paint. Yes, I definitely want an Arachnarok Spider for my Gloomspite Gits. Yeah, and I want some Fell-Watered Froggoths too. I like the vomiting troll. The other one holding a fish. I kind of feel like they go well with the Spider Riders. Don't know why I think that. I just do. and the rock gut trogoths go well with the mushroom gobos. Not that that's what they're called, but well, there we go. What time are we on? Wow. Okay, so just talking about what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks has gone on for quite a while. I think we're going to leave it there, folks. Hopefully there will be another one next week. It will depend on how I'm feeling and what else is going on. But yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed we will do this again next week. And thank you all for joining me this evening. Thank you very, very much to everyone who has super chatted. You are all awesome. And take care, everyone. And I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.